Hope you enjoy your stay and you're settling in nicely. Nice to see you. Are we online, Devla? We're away? Okay, Councillor Truman, could I ask for a special blessing for the day, please?
I te atua ka harawa ki a tata mai koe ki a mātou I tēnei rā. Manaki te a mātou mahi katoa I runga tinoa. Amen.
Full house, Councillor Cousins I know is in the building somewhere, but for lateness. Okay, we'll go to item number 1.
Chairman,
confirmation of the meeting.
Before you do that,
Councillor Body.
I want to raise the issue of agenda item 14, which has been held in confidence. And
yes.
We need a reason why.
Thank you. Mr. Mr. Fox, can you give us a reason for that, please?
Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Body.
Is your speaker on, Brian?
Hopefully it is on. Is that
Yep.
working?
Yep, thank you.
The item has in it matters relating to potentially Council's negotiating position in the future. Question you need to ask, would that prejudice or disadvantage having that in the public right now? Sorry, can you not hear me?
Can we talk a bit louder, please, Brian?
Sorry. So in the agenda item, item 14, there is a matter relating to potential council negotiating position relating to the item. That has been held in confidence because it may potentially disadvantage or prejudice council's position in the future.
Okay, what exactly part of the item 14 are you referring to specifically?
Well, the matter is in confidence, so are we able to answer that?
I think that really is a matter in confidence. It's clearly in the body of the report and also in the recommendations.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Fox.
Chairman, this is a matter of public interest. It has been debated outside of confidence for some considerable time. I believe under section 14 of the Act we have a certain role to perform, and one of those is that our business is open and transparent. I don't believe this resolution in committee does that. I've read the suggested resolutions and I can myself, once again as I've been told by a fellow councillor, I'm not a lawyer, don't believe it should be in confidence. So I'm going to test council and move that item 14 be taken out of confidence.
Okay, Councillor Body has moved a suggested resolution. We have had advice to the contrary. Is there a seconder? Councillor Body?
Sorry, through the Chair, Your Worship, I would support Councillor Body's resolution to move this item out of confidence. I cannot see any information in here that is not already in the public arena. So I'm a bit stumped as to the tenuous link as to commercial sensitivity. I can't see that, and I would support his request for the resolution or second it.
Thanks, Councillor John. Does anyone else want to talk for the resolution? I'm happy to talk against the resolution. It's quite clear that if we decide to proceed with this project, there will be negotiations to the various attributes of it. So hence the advice from our officers to keep it in confidence at this stage. Councillor Body is quite correct. It has been debated quite clearly in the public, and we've received submissions to the fact. So it has been conducted in an open, transparent manner. It's down to commercial negotiations if the matter is proceeded. So it's been moved and seconded. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Could I have a show of hands, please, for the
Sorry, can you just
resolution?
clarify which resolution we're voting for, please?
The resolution that Councillor Body would like the
Item 14 out of
item 14 out of confidence. But our officers have advised that it should be retained in confidence. So I'll test the waters here for you, Councillor Body. Could I have a show of hands for the resolution, please? Show of hands against the resolution. Thank you. The resolution is lost.
Could I call for a revision and have the voting named?
Sure. Put that Shane here on.
Yeah, we should record it, but no, we'll record the votes.
Yeah. Item number 1, confirmation of the council minutes of the ordinary council meeting on the 25th of August. Do I have any queries or clarifications on those minutes, please? Councillor Park.
I'm just interested in if we knew what the time frame was for the Sculpture Trust project.
Mr Green?
No, we're still working with them, obviously trying to coordinate that with the path upgrade as much as possible.
Any other questions or queries? Any matters arising from those minutes? Okay, that being the case, could I have a mover please for those minutes? Thank you, Councillor Krastowski, seconded by Councillor Hickling. All those in favour please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Item number 2, receipt of the minutes of the Turangi Community Board on the 8th of September. Any questions or queries of those minutes? No. Could I have a mover please? Thank you, Councillor Stewart. Seconded by Cousins. You're able to second that? Thank you very much, Councillor Cousins. All those in favour please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. Item number 3. Receipt of the minutes of the Waikato plan. Waikato plan, actually myself or Councillor Park are unable to attend that, so are you happy to move the minutes?
I'm happy to move that they be received, yes.
And I think in members' reports you've attended a meeting subsequent to there.
Yes.
And you'll table a report on that. Thank you, Councillor Park. It's moved by Councillor Park. Could I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Truman. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. Thank you. Item number 4.
Thank you, Your Worship. Chief Executive's Officer's report. It's September, so there's not a heck of a lot to report. However, I just want to alert you to a number of issues that I see as relatively important moving forward. On the positive front, the residential sector is seeing a lot more growth this year, so it's pleasing to see 20 new lots in Taupo district in July and 16 in August, with 140 new residential lots in 2015. That's quite a positive sign. On the 16th of March, the chairs of the Bay of Plenty Polytechnic and Wairiki Institute of Technology announced that they were exploring a potential merger, and then Stephen Joyce made a further public comment on that later in the year, and now there is a consultation period, which has just finished, but there has been a consultation period underway, so it's worth keeping an eye on that project. Staff put together a submission on that, and there is a paper on this agenda. Sadly, as staff, we weren't able to get an extension to that consultation period, so we had to put that submission in. The health and safety legislation, it says controversial in my report here. I wouldn't necessarily say it's controversial. It is what it is. It's the health and safety legislation that passed its third reading in August and will come into force on the 4th of April. Just wanted to re-emphasise to everybody in the room that training opportunities have been organised via a LAS shared service opportunity, and so there will be 2 training courses available, one in Hamilton and one in Tokoroa, that I would suggest that you do your best to avail yourself of that training opportunity. I shall certainly be attending the morning session with any elected members that are interested, and I may even be able to hang around for the afternoon session for our senior staff too. Other than that, the report is taken as read, and we're happy for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Williams, for your report. Any questions? Councillor Krastowski.
Yes, thank you for that, Rob. Just a matter of expansion or clarification for my part, please. Under the 4/2, under Ngāti Tu Whātua, you talk about different types of governance. Can you sort of expand a little bit on that for me, please?
I could do. Gareth, did you want to expand because you've been closely involved in this?
So this is to do with both the governance of particular pieces of land that may come, or will go back to Tūwhare Toa, which council may have a role in, so joint governance committees of land holdings, and of there is a, I've got to be careful because it is in confidence, but a proposal for a piece of policy work that has a joint committee with this council and Waikato Regional Council.
So it won't, as such, have an effect or impact on our next year's delegation policy review?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Just making sure, Mrs. Nean, are you hearing okay down the back? Is it quite clear? Cool. Okay. All right. Thanks, Councillor Body.
On 4/6, in regards to the Iron Delaney Stadium lighting, flood lighting, it's stated that there will be consultations or discussions in early September. Is there any update on that?
A meeting has been held with Sky TV. I'm not entirely sure what the follow-up has been from that meeting because a staff member is currently on leave. Sorry, Gareth, you got an update? They're still talking about it, yep.
Secondly, Mr Chairman, on 4/7, it might just be a word, the upgrade of the pump stations and generators at Lau Place, it's got prizes being sought from preferred vendors. Should it be tenderers? I thought a vendor was something that sold something rather than, is that the correct terminology?
Bearing in mind that they're buying a pump, I would say a vendor is an appropriate title, yep.
Councillor Park?
Yes, thank you. On 4/4, just in regards to the Waitahanui water treatment plant upgrade, we've been through some consultation. It says that the consultation with the community is still progressing. I'm just wondering what the timetable is with that, because I did attend a meeting a while ago and I just feel I just want to make sure that the communication is still open with the community.
Yep. We recently sent in a further letter to the community advising them that we were still consulting and that there was more information being prepared. We're optimistic of bringing a paper or a workshop to councillors in November. Yep.
Thank you. Any questions or Councillor Cousins?
Through the Chair, just on page 4/30, second from the bottom, the green dot indicates being on track. It says 49% of the district feel informed about council's long-term direction for council, but last year it was 52%, which means we're tracking downwards, so we plan to be at 0. Is that a goal? I just think maybe that shouldn't be on track. That should be not achieved.
No, it's achieved. The target is 49% and you achieved 52%.
Oh, right. I'm reading it wrong. Oh, right. Okay. I stand corrected. Thank you. Yay.
Oh, celebrate.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Williams, for your report. Sorry. Councillor Truman.
Yeah, so in attachment 2, the Treasury Management Report, could you just explain the pre-funding?
Sorry, but so sorry.
We have a loan tranche that comes up for renewal in April of 2016. A window of opportunity has presented itself to pre-fund that, and we have invested it on deposit. And if you have a look on page 4, you'll see down the bottom in section 4 we actually do show the pre-funding position where that 25 million accrued interest on investment versus the accrued interest on the debt. You can see we're already starting to make money on it. So it was just a matter of taking an opportunity that presented itself in the market. Remember, we did the same thing last financial year.
Councillor Johns.
Thank you. So just following on from Councillor Truman's comment, why do we not include these figures in our performance calculations? Because we make a comment here that we don't include these borrowing and investment figures in our performance calculations.
We've tried to align our performance calculation with the Treasury Management policy, and by having the 25 million on both sides of the ledger instead of netting it off actually distorts the comparison with the performance statistics.
My second question through the chair then, please, was on page 3/3 of 4 of the Treasury Management Report, our actual asset allocation is way out of the bounds of our target. Can I have an explanation and a justification for that, please? Because that's significant.
Yes, when we, in January, sold the 20 million ANZ bond, which represented 40% of the portfolio, and if you can remember, the interest rate on that was 5.28%, so we've now been struggling to reinvest it at much more than 4%. It's actually increased our short-term deposits because there's very little corporate paper around as far as long-term investment is concerned, so the money is now sitting short, and that's distorting our ratios.
In terms of our ratios, that is a significantly inconsistent. It's significantly inconsistent to our policy. What are we doing to make sure that people understand that, and when will we rectify that?
We'll rectify it when the market
policy that we're not following.
We'll rectify it when the market conditions change, such that borrowers start coming out with corporate paper that A, meets our credit ratings, and B, is of an attractive enough yield for us to start going back long-term with our investments.
So in your view, and if you apply the principles under Section 80 of the Local Government Act, would we need to relook at changing our policy if what we're doing no longer fits with our policy?
No, we've just, through the long-term plan process, we have changed our some of our performance measurements within our policy.
So these are new ones or the old ones that we're seeing here today?
The new ones we're seeing today, because they came in effect from the 1st of July. And we will be outside those particular ratios as long as the market stays as it is. If there's no paper available to invest into, then we have to stay short with our bank deposits.
Yeah, I mean, and I completely understand the market conditions that have put us in this position, but we sat in a workshop with PricewaterhouseCoopers several months ago when we decided on the Treasury management policy, and we made decisions on what were best practices, and it just, on paper, this looks like we're outside that best practice and outside that policy, and we need to be very careful about how we manage those and whether that means that our policy is correct.
Well, we are outside.
Gives us enough flexibility.
Correct. We're outside the policy, and we'll remain outside the policy because our only option as far as fixed interest investments, and keeping in mind the subdued appetite for equity investments, we have a very heavy exposure into the banks. The only other choice is into higher risk fixed investments, and so we're not prepared to put the fund at risk.
Oh no, and I would completely agree with you, but I say we're operating under a policy that we can't follow.
I think what Councillor John was just trying to ask is, can the policy be changed to suit the market?
Or give us some more flexibility.
So when is the opportunity to change that policy if we have to next annual plan?
Yeah.
Excellent. Basically, it's your policy. So if you agree to go outside the parameters of your policy, that is your decision.
Sure.
It's
no,
not.
I guess, yeah, and I guess I'm bringing it to our councillors' attention that we're outside of that policy, and we need to acknowledge that and highlight that. I mean, I find it a little bit frustrating, to be honest, that I get this report the day before a council meeting, and then I have to go through the information with less than a day to analyse it, and I'm finding that very difficult. I don't think that's fair on us councillors either, when we get these sorts of things to have a day.
Can I just comment on that? I think the important thing is that you're informed that the information is here, because as staff, the TEF and the committee could actually increase the share of equities, both international and Australian, and stay well within the policy, but they don't believe that that is the best form of investment at this point in time. So that is the purpose of this information, so that you are aware that you're outside the policy, but there are good reasons to be outside the policy.
Through the chair, as I was Yeah, at the September meeting last year, councillors passed a comment that there were no financials at that particular stage. We advised council that we've been working to complete the annual report, which you've got once again 12 months down the track. Taking into account the comments made a year ago, the staff have basically worked their butts off to produce a set of financials that is tabled for the September council meeting this time, keeping in mind your comment of 12 months ago. Hence, you only received it in the last 24 hours.
So with that note then, next time round we could expect to get it sooner?
Not necessarily. Depends on the work involved in producing the audited annual report which you have tabled here today.
Okay, Councillor Hickling.
So does that mean, Your Worship, that we should be passing a resolution to move out of our policy until the finance comes right, or not? Or
no, I think
work in default.
What Mr. Menhennitz is trying to explain, that the condition at the moment is outside the policy, but as soon as the bonds become available or the notes become available, we'll be within the policy. So it comes in and out of the policy. Is that?
If you refer back to each of the months for the latter half of the last financial year, you will find that this particular situation occurred. And hasn't just started, it's been going on since we liquidated that 20 million ANZ corporate bond.
Just to further add to the councillor's question with regards to that, I think the fact that we've minuted the conversation is important. I think also the fact that you have a resolution to have received the report is sufficient at this point in time. However, depending on how long we remain outside of the policy, it may well be worth us bringing a resolution to you at some point in the future, just to have some commentary on the market conditions and when we do believe it may change for us, and I think that we'll keep an eye on that over the next couple of months and possibly bring a paper or a resolution to you to assist with that concern.
Councillor Boddy?
Sure, there's two issues. One is the one we're just discussing now. In fact, the previous council moved a resolution to vary policy for that BBB. So they actually did that, probably as protection, I don't know. So I'm wondering whether what we're talking about at the moment is a wise move. But what I want to refer to is attachment 2 down under notes, and it's note 1 about this particular short-term breach. Now I know this is to the 31st of August, so the notes finish up since matured on 23rd of September. Council is now back within policy limits. So that's happened after this was printed, Alan. Would that be correct?
That's correct, as far as our exposure to each individual bank is concerned.
I admit I was surprised to get these, because going on last year we didn't get them now, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
But what I want to also raise is that in a previous document it actually said this would not happen again. This wouldn't happen from the 1st of July 15. Well, it has happened. So I'm just wondering whether somehow that we've ended up in that, having made that comment, that it won't happen again.
Yeah.
Councillor Cousins?
Just a couple of things. I endorse what Councillor Jolland said. I was reading the financial report, and I hear what you're saying, Alan, without a doubt. But I was reading this document last night at 11 o'clock. My contact lenses were making my eyes stick shut, and then I was doing it again this morning over my Weet-Bix. There's no point giving us one be part of the report without the other, and then expecting us to be thoroughly informed. I hear what you're saying about time factors with the crew. Then it all needs to come at once in a timely fashion for us, is what Councillor Jolland is saying, and I take on board what you're saying. But if we can find a way through that, that'd be fantastic. Moving on from that, just under attachment, the attachment we got for the financial update, I spoke to this, or emailed the CEO this morning about staffing levels, and he's given me great clarification that we're now at 355 staff within the council environment, excluding CCOs. Concerns me is our wage bill is climbing quite dramatically from 17.8 million in 2013 to a proposed 19,650 this year. I admit that we've gained 13 new staff members, but it seems incredibly high. I just wanted a top table answer on that one.
I think the long-term plan demonstrates where the future will lie, and I'm quite actually proud of the results that we will achieve over the next 10 years in terms of the long-term planning. Our staffing was built into that long-term planning, so I don't foresee any huge issue in relation to staffing. When I first arrived here, I think those figures were 455 with about 380 FTEs, and now we're sitting at 355 with 289 FTEs, so I'm not overly concerned about that.
The downside for me is that our income hasn't increased to offset that ratio. That would be my concern. I urge caution moving forward with that one. And another question for Alan, hopefully he can answer. Just looking at total net assets, we're currently at 1,618,000. I could be reading it wrong from previous annual reports, but it seems to have decreased, or am I reading those documents wrong? From 1.256 to 1.2 million, or 200 million, to 1 million now, or am I reading them, I could be interpreting them incorrectly?
Are you comparing the end of the financial year?
What you've got here is 1,618,000, and I'm just comparing against the previous years what our net assets were, but I could be misinterpreting those figures.
Well, there's two factors there. One is the revaluation of assets at the end of the financial year. Second one is the transfer of the ETA across to NZTA, which, if you remember, was a substantial hit on our P&L, so that is in fact the main movements in the value of the assets.
Cool. Okay, thanks very much.
That also include the liabilities, not just the changes of the bypass. The 2 months of 31 August on the agenda item 2, the financial performance one. Total assets of 1.2 billion, net 1 billion.
Sorry, you talking about the net amount or the total liability?
Just looking what the balance sheet is showing at the moment.
Well, the total liabilities, of course, take into account that 25 million pre-funding.
Okay.
And so therefore it flows through to the assets on the other side. But the net position is pretty much in line with what we're predicting it to be at the end of the year. 1 million versus 1 million, or 1 million versus 998.
Could I now have some assistance in reading the income statement and the financial update? It's got total operating revenue in the first part of the figures. Should that be compared with the long-term plan figures for the start of this financial year? So when we go to the full year budget in this particular document, that's the one with the yellow lines, should that correspond with the first year's total operating expenditure in the long-term funding impact statement?
Are you talking about the 2 months to the end of August in the income statement?
Yes, the income statement full year budget.
Yeah. Well, the year-to-date budget, you will not have in the long-term plan what the year-to-date budget is to the end of August. It's a whole year budget.
I'm looking at the full year.
Well, so it's phased month by month. It's not automatically the full year divided by 12.
No, I appreciate that. I'm looking at the full year budget, which shows here 77 million.
Yeah.
The long-term plan, total operating revenue, full budget is a different figure. So are you telling me that that figure each month, that full year budget, which we set in the long-term plan, will change?
No.
There's Toby now in the back there. She's got a quick
So,
answer.
Jeanette?
When I enter the budget figures, and there's a couple of items that get removed out in terms of internal transactions and rates, commissions and stuff. That's not expressed the same way in the long-term plan, I think, but I'll need to go back and have a look. But the bottom line, the 5098 at the bottom is the same as the long-term plan.
Okay, thank you. I wonder if we could have a right as that, because we're trying to compare apples with apples, we're not able to do so. Thank you.
Can I just comment too, this report is obviously based on last year's format. We are considering moving to the format that your annual report is in this year, because we want you to be seeing the same thing that you see at the end of the year. So the next report hopefully will be in the format of the current annual report.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks Councillor Boddy, thank you Jeanette. Right, so 4/2 is the suggested resolution there. Could I have a mover please for that? Thank you Councillor Christowski, seconded by Councillor Williamson, thank you. All those in favour please say aye. Those against? Carried. Item number 5, Spa Road Reserve Concession Site and Licence to the Juice Station. Ella, good afternoon.
Resolution to grant the licence is consistent with the Reserves Committee resolution passed to grant the licence conditional on the amendment to the policy being made.
Okay, thanks Ella. Just first, you've obviously the financial considerations that you've considered the proposed application to outweigh any income that we, the advantage of it to outweigh any income that we may receive? Yeah. Yes, if you don't mind, yeah.
Yeah, so it's quite a tough market down here. There's a lot of backpackers working through the area, and what we've experienced in the past is that operations aren't financially sustainable down here. We've had a copycat set up down here in front of them in a free trial, and they just couldn't cover their overheads. So in order to support the establishment of an operation down here in recognition of the benefits in terms of security and having kind of a guardian or ambassador for life, it's proposed that licence fees are waived to make it viable for the operator.
Just an indication, what would a normal fee be per annum, just ballpark, what? A couple of thousand or?
It's a difficult one because it's not on the lake shore, so
okay.
it would probably be a lot less.
Yeah.
We normally get a commercial valuer to give us an estimate, but as a ballpark figure, probably a couple of thousand dollars a year would be appropriate in that instance.
Okay, so they're going to act as sort of part-time security as well, are they? That sort of thing.
I guess it's just an extra set of eyes that are going to be down here, and they'll also be able to supply information to tourists if they're lost or they don't know where to go, and also a bit of vibrancy and support for recreational use in the area. They'll be selling fresh juice products.
Okay, thanks Ella. Councillor Krasuski.
Thank you. Just a quick question. Do we know what the trading hours are and the days?
So 8 till 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. basically, all day and 7 days a week.
Thank you.
Councillor Park.
Yes, thank you, and I was happy to move this to be recommended to council, but just in regards to health and safety regulations with their power supply, there's a photo on 5/18 of sort of, extension cord out the vehicle window and plugged into the power supply. Is that safe? Is that deemed commercially safe? I just
As far as I'm aware, but I can make inquiries about that.
yeah, I think it's a fantastic idea, but it's just around, I see they're taking their rubbish away, but having enough bins, and that is actually safe because it looks a bit boyish at this.
Yeah, I can see how you think. It'd just be a power cord, so it's no risk.
Yeah, so if it's pouring with rain or whatever, I just would like some assurance that it's safe from an operational perspective. Thank you.
Cord looks a bit long, doesn't it?
Do we have cameras down there? We have CTV cameras down there, don't we?
We do, yes.
Yeah, I'm struggling to, the reason for the security, I mean, I'm all for this because when you look at the security, he's right at the front. He's going to be busy, or he and she going to be busy. I think that's not quite right because we've got that other security there, but I certainly support the concept.
Okay, is there any other questions or queries of Ella?
Yeah, through the chair.
Thank you, Councillor Williamson.
Obviously, this amendment allows this particular operation down there, this particular one off. So do you see in the long term any limit to what can happen down there, like other operators, a limit to the numbers of, or is this just to allow this particular,
No,
case by case obviously?
Yeah, case by case. So, in granting this licence upon the expiry, you'd then get to review whether you want to renew the juice station's licence or go out for expressions of interest. And the report suggests at that stage you review whether you want to apply commercial fees going forward. Just kind of see how it goes to begin with.
The 5 year, at what stage, sorry, would you?
After the suggested 1 by 1 year licence.
Okay, yeah, because it's a term of 5 years. That's the normal for street vendors, is it?
It's consistent with our Lakeshore concession policy.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so regarding the financial considerations, we could have a look at it after a year.
Yeah. That's what's, after the 2-year initial licence.
After the 2 years.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Councillors, how do you feel? Good. There's a recommended resolution there, and Councillor Johns is nodding her head, followed on by Councillor Hickling. All those in favour, please say yes or no? Aye. Aye, sorry. Okay, that's a short blank there. Okay, item number 6. Adoption of the Taupo District Council Annual Report 2014-15. Jeanette and Jane. Good afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for a nice glossy copy. Obviously we've workshopped this, and it was basically just going back with a few typos and a few clarifications, wasn't it? So anything further to report?
So first of all, on the glossiness, I'd just like to have a huge thank you to the comms department, Sheree Riley in particular, who's done this amazing document. We can now print in colour, I believe, because it's as cheap as printing in black and white, so what you see is what will be printed. There's only a few changes from the workshop that we held about a month ago, in terms of the financials anyway. Probably the major one is the change in the valuation of the infrastructure, which we mentioned at that meeting that we were going back and looking at that, and also the correction of the depreciation, which was also mentioned at that workshop. We have also removed the Lake Taupo Protection Trust from our books as an associate because it does not meet the new accounting standards, and I referred to that as well at the workshop. So those are the main areas where there are differences for those of you that go through and check those things. I really don't have anything else to add. It's received a clear audit opinion from the Auditor General's Office, and we also have a clear audit opinion for the summary as well, which is, we don't normally have that so early, so they're both good to go basically. So I'll take any questions unless Jane wants to add anything.
Only that we made the changes as per the workshop. So.
Yep, cool. Thanks, Jane. Thanks, Jeanette. Any questions or queries of Councillor Krasowski?
I hate to be a real pain in the neck, but on page 147 of this latest annual report, under the TL fund, we still say it was established in September 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1995.
It was 95, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the other one on that document is that we're still, on the last page on 170, we still refer to ANZ National Bank Limited. No such piece.
Yes, that's right. I remember that one.
I thought I'd made that change. I'm sorry.
And if I can go on to the summary one. On page 5, the top paragraph, second line, should read 2014/2015.
That's right, 5.
And the footer on that page should be 2014/2015.
Thank you, councillor.
That'll be a much.
Just so you know, we have proofread these documents probably between about 6 people quite a few times.
They haven't been printed yet, though, have they?
No.
No. Good. Thank you, Councillor Krasuski. Ever vigilant. Eyes are yours. Okay, any other, Councillor Murray?
I've discussed a number of issues with Mr Manhattan in regards of some figure changes in the two documents. You mentioned there was some revaluation and depreciation. I don't know whether I need to go through them one by one. Alan has informed me that it's probably something that the audit office has picked up. But one of the issues that may once again have been wrong in the first report we looked at is what's now on page 59, and it relates to the satisfaction targets of our 3 swimming pools. The two documents are different.
Sorry, which page?
Okay, 59 of the new document and page 50 of the old one.
The draft?
The draft.
There have been a couple of changes that the auditors definitely picked up that we've had to amend. So specifically, which one was it?
Well, with the one to do with the pools, the first one we got, and I'll refer to the AC baths, it states we had achieved 74%, 74%, 69%. The new one says 82, 82 and 98 for the AC baths.
Oh yes, that was definitely one that the auditors picked up that was incorrect.
They picked it up. So can you give me a guarantee that all those other financial figures that are different are because of audit? Or...
that's not a financial figure, that's an NRB survey
No,
figure.
I'm saying is that, but I have other figures where the first document has figures on a particular issue that are different in the second document.
Okay, so the report that we gave to you on that workshop day was the report that we gave to audit.
Yep.
So any changes that have been made have occurred through the audit process or through the items that I mentioned before regarding the revaluation and depreciation and stuff. So there are very few, in terms of the overall result, there are very few numbers that changed. Throughout the document and the notes though, there may have been some disclosure changes that we had to make. So we might have been expressing something in one category when it's better in another. So those things do happen at an audit, but the overall numbers, apart from the things that I've mentioned, have not changed.
Okay. I'm wondering, Mr Chairman, in the future whether we could have that listed.
There's been quite a lot of change in terms of disclosures and stuff, and I just do not think it's practical for us to actually show you all of those. It would be, to me, it's of no benefit.
Well, it would benefit for me, Mr Chairman, as a councillor responsible for approving this annual report, that what goes out is correct and the reasons why there are difference between the two. If I'm going to go through a workshop and go through an annual report and then to find the next document is different, and it might be only marginally, I would like to have that information.
Through the Chair, the financial reporting for the financial year just ended, there were a number of accounting policy changes. Staff have interpreted those changes, but then audit have actually tweaked our interpretation. So if we gave you the explanation as to the difference between one and the other, a lot of it is accounting speak, and hence the question as to in what way would that assist you in adopting the annual report.
Great, okay. Thank you. Any other questions or queries of Jeanette and Jane? Okay. Well, that's good. Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen and councillors. In the end of a busy year, and I think we can be very proud of this annual report. $18 million less debt than what we had at the start. Our rate rises, getting closer to inflation all the time, and also the AA credit rating that you received from Standard & Poor's. You know, that's not an easy task, so well done to Helen and your team and the girls down the back as well, and gentlemen down the back, so thank you very much. So I've got a suggested resolution there that we approve the annual report and release it to the public.
Move, Mr Chairman.
Moved by Councillor Boddy.
Before I second it, do we actually have a report from the Auditor General?
It was put into your boxes while you were in the first workshop.
Moved by Councillor Boddy, seconded by Councillor Park. Thank you. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Item number 7.
Excuse me, through the chair. There's 2 resolutions there and we need to amend the second one.
Yep. I'll move them on block, sorry. He approves the, so 1 and 2.
So the second one needs to remove.
Separate.
Yeah, the second resolution needs to remove the subject to approval from audit because we have the approval.
Release to the public subject to approval. Yep, okay. Can I have a move for that then, please?
Yeah, same mover and seconder if they're...
Yeah. You happy with that, Councillor Boddy, Councillor Park? Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against? Carried. That change? Item 1 and 2. Right, item number 7. Speed limits, Napier Road, Lake Terrace, Wairakei Drive. Claire. Good afternoon, Claire.
Afternoon, everybody. This report is basically to seek approval of the existing speed limits along the former state highway, so that's from Wairakei roundabout through the township to the roundabout at the airport and Napier Road, which is now called Napier Road. So it's basically just adopting the NZTA speed limits that are already existing and putting them in to make sure they're in our current bylaw.
There's no change, it's just existing.
No change to the speed limits at all. We will look at doing that through the full bylaw
ownership
process.
Yep, cool. Okay, straightforward. Councillor Park?
Yes, thanks, Claire. So the review is due next year. Will it definitely be undertaken next year? It's a timetable?
Yes, we may just look at the timing of that based on the workshop that we had this morning in terms of that speed management, the national guide. So we may just defer that, but to try and cover that off as well.
Yeah, thank you, because that was after that workshop this morning. That was where I was going. Thanks.
Okay, you happy to move that suggested resolution, Councillor Park? No? Oh, sorry. Thank you, Councillor Krasowski. Seconded by Councillor Truman. Any other questions or queries of Claire? No, thank you very much. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
It's against? Carried. Item number 8. Proposed merger Bay of Plenty Polytechnic and Wairakei Institute of Technology. Mr. Samuel, correct?
Thanks, Your Worship. Yeah, I'll take the item as read. It was released on the 25th of August. Unfortunately, we weren't able to provide a late submission, which is why I circulated it to you just over 2 weeks ago. Had feedback from several of you, and we put it into the Tertiary Education Commission last week. And they tell me that they are putting together the summary for the Minister to get into straight away. So happy to take any questions.
Any questions of Mr. Samuel? No? Okay, recommended resolution there. If I could have a mover for that, we retrospectively approve the submission that we sent. Councillor Cousins, moved. Councillor Cousins, seconded by Councillor Williamson. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Item number 9 is here, and... Oh, Ariel, not here.
That's Brian.
Thank you.
Oh, Brian, sorry.
Speaks volumes.
You said all your civil defence controllers were going to be in the room.
Yes, I did think they were going to be here, Your Worship, so I'm not sure what's happened. But in terms of the item, it is somewhat a mechanical item, but it is a relatively rare one. We've had 3 controllers for this council and stable at that for the last 12 years, so we don't often get an item relating to appointments of controllers.
Yes, yes.
So we have had, as I say, 3 controllers. With Joe Mickelson's retirement, we've had to find a replacement. And Mrs. King, after some discussion, and after a process herself in terms of getting to this point, has put her hand up, and we are delighted by that. We believe that she will continue the calibre of the controllers we've had, and we are rare in this district that our controllers have actually had experience in declarations, which is rare in this region. Mrs. King has had to undergo a vetting process and an interview process before it even went to the Waikato CDM Joint Committee. She's been interviewed by the Group Controller, the Manager Operations for the Police, Deputy CE from Waipa, and our own Chief Executive.
Geez, poor thing.
So she's got through that, and she's still smiling, and yeah, we are delighted. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. I'll refer to the Chairman of Emergency Management, Councillor Park.
Thank you, Your Worship. I was very happy to move this appointment in Waikato. Just a little bit about Ariel. She has a very strong understanding of the community, proven relationships with the community, as we all know through going through the long-term plan processes. She has a great ability to work with others to get the right outcome, able to analyse information, make good decisions, has good relationships with key management staff, senior staff and elected members. She's been employed with the Taupo District Council for 12 years and so has also a good understanding of the hazards in the district. She works well in teams. She's able to manage conflict effectively, a good communicator, and generally cares about the district and the people that live here. Ariel also holds a Bachelor of Science, a Bachelor of Commerce, and a Master's in Resource and Environmental Planning. Has wonderful, strong family networks, and I'd like to move the resolution.
Thank you, Councillor Park. And Bernard, Councillor Christowski.
I just have a question. Would this be over and above your current position, or will you be vacating your current position?
Oh, just in case there's an earthquake.
Well, it depends if there's an emergency.
Over and above.
Yeah.
Very brave. I'll second.
There's a woman.
Thank you, Councillor Christowski.
None of that crap.
Okay. All right, Ariel. Well done. Congratulations. Thank you so much for accepting the position. And you know, I feel the district is in very safe hands in your control under a emergency. You've been showing to us that you're very cool, calm, and collected. Not only good looking, you're just a great Taupo person. So well done and congratulations, and appreciate you doing it over and above your existing role. So, Mr. Fox, if you could pass on our thanks to the appointment committee, whoever did that. But and Councillor Park, Chairman, as Chairman of Emergency Management, we really appreciate your support as well. So. The resolution has been moved and seconded. I don't know, Ariel, did you want to say anything? You're quite happy? Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Item number 10. Thank you, Ariel. Item number 10, Tina.
We still, however, have kept the Monday the 12th just in case as a reserve day. And just wanted to note the next council meeting.
Thanks very much, Tina. Yeah, excellent report. Do we have any questions or queries on the dates? Timing, just that change, slight one change. No other external activities coming up. Councillor Krotowski.
I still have invitations from the Chief Economist of the ANZ Bank for a breakfast session.
Yes.
Those who are interested, if they can let me know, and I can put their names down.
Cool.
That's for the 23rd of this month.
Yep. You've got my email for that, Bernard? You got my one? Yep, cool. All right, Councillor Hickling.
Yes, Your Worship. We received an email regarding this health and safety. I see it's not on there.
No, we've got time. It's not till November, so
okay.
October meeting.
Are there any other places, venues that it's going to take place apart from Tokoroa and Hamilton?
Just those two that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Thanks, Tina.
Just those two.
Okay.
Just those two.
Just those two. Yeah.
Okay, there's a recommended resolution there. Moved by Councillor Truman, thank you. Seconded by Councillor Stewart. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Item number 11. Members' reports. They could be all fielded to the front row, and Anna has a update of this Waikato plan report. Any other reports? Yes, Councillor Harvey.
We did discuss what we put on our reports, and I see some people still put normal meetings and workshops and things. So are we or aren't we? Or
sorry, what was
are we or aren't we putting normal meetings, workshops, things like that on our reports? Some do, some don't.
Yeah, you can put whatever you like on there. Yeah, it's your reporting and what.
I thought we sort of said, look, if it's something that we all generally attend, we don't need. It's external things that we go to, like
probably would make it a bit more interesting, but
yeah, we're generally all expected to attend workshops, meetings if we can, but it's committee meetings that we don't all attend, and reporting back on those, isn't it?
Yep. Cool. Councillor Park?
Oh yes, thank you. You've alluded to a couple of times the Waikato Plan Joint Committee, and thanks to Nick. I attended on your behalf in September. I'm really sorry about the lack of time you have to read it, but it's just bullet pointed. It's still quite new, the committee, and its new structure. Ken Tremaine is an absolutely fantastic consultant to this joint committee, and I'm almost hoping that you can't go to any of them so I can go. But basically we had a really informative update from the National Infrastructure Unit, and have a copy of that presentation if anyone would like that. Then there was a great discussion around the priority areas of the project plan, of which there are 3, and then that these meetings will be bi-monthly, and there's just a brief little timeline there of what is going to be discussed and in what time frame. So happy to chat with anyone outside, as I'm sure Nick Carroll would be available too, who's a bit more of a policy wonk than me, but really enjoyable, and it's the energy in it is amazing, so looking forward to hopefully being able to go again.
Thanks, Anna. Any other members' reports? Sorry, Councillor Stewart.
I just wanted to let you know that there was a public meeting in Turangi last Saturday, and the board, in conjunction with the ratepayers, had this public meeting to let the community know what happened to the petition that went to Parliament and went to the Select Committee with the Lions Company. And it was really to let the community know the outcomes of the submission, the petition to Parliament, and where the community wanted to go forward. There was a lot of discussion. There were a lot of people there for touring. There was between 150 and 160 people at the meeting.
Wow.
Tonga chaired the meeting and co-chaired it with one of the ratepayers that are very up with the play with this. The outcome of it was that they passed a resolution at the meeting to set up a Turangi Tongariro Residents and Ratepayers Association, because Turangi itself hasn't actually got one. The bays all have, but Turangi hasn't. As a focal point and their first charge of that group is to look at getting together with all the other areas that are affected by the ratepayers, and doing that through the community board networks to get all of them together, and to have a really collaborative approach to fighting the Lions Company with their pricing regime. So I just wanted to let you know that that is a very vocal issue in Turangi, and that Turangi are finding their way forward.
Okay, thanks Maggie, and thank you for attending that meeting. So we watch with interest.
Yes,
Yeah.
it will probably come up at the board meeting and then another way forward through.
Okay, cool. Any other members' reports? No. Suggested recommended a resolution there that wants to be received. Thank you, Councillor Stewart and Councillor Christowski. All those in favour, please say aye. Against? Carried. Okay, thank you very much. There's a resolution there for the confidential section. Could I have a mover, please, for
Just
that?
before you do, before we go out of confidence, there's nothing controversial. In long-term plan, we approved the continuation of the climbing wall.
Yes.
I wonder whether staff would better prepare a set of accounts for the first 3 months, just to see how it's tracking, because there was supposed to be a whole lot of new ideas how to make better use of it. So I'd be very interested as how that's going, if that's possible.
We can do that, I'm sure. Is that?
We'll put
Yeah.
together some information.
Thank you.
Yeah, even it'll be 3 months or yeah, before Christmas would be good. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Now, mover, please to go into confidence. Thank you, Councillor Williamson, seconded by Councillor Hickling. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against?
No.
Carried. Okay, those against, same as last time. Yep. Cool. Item